All right, welcome everyone. Today we are jumping headfirst into some seriously dense but absolutely fascinating stuff, the metaphysical blueprint of the Upside Down. So buckle up because this isn't just a simple change of scenery we're talking about. It's a total teardown and reconstruction of reality itself.
And this quote right here, wow, it just perfectly sets the tone, doesn't it? It drops us right in front of this incredibly formidable figure at the very center of this new age, a being who isn't just another character, but is more like a cosmic full stop. This is really our key to understanding everything else. So here's the plan for today's deep dive. We're going to start with why the old universe had to go, then we'll get a profile of the one responsible. After that, we'll try to understand the bizarre new laws of physics, figure out what it takes to actually survive in this place, and finally explore the ultimate path forward in this, well, this brutal new world.
Okay, so first things first, let's really get a handle on the problem. The old reality, what they called the old heavens, it wasn't just a little bit flawed. No, it was a fundamental mistake in the very design of existence, one that demanded a totally radical and violent fix.
The big idea behind that mistake is this concept, the liturgy of error. I want you to picture a universe that's built on stagnant, unmoving light. Everything is beautiful, everything is fixed, everything is predetermined. Sounds kind of nice and safe, right? But in this worldview, it's a prison. Every single star is just a gilded cage, and every soul is trapped inside, forced to live out a destiny they never, ever chose.
Now this is where that massive shift just becomes crystal clear. Look at this side by side. For the nature of light, we go from stagnant and blinding to visceral and lethal. Then check out State of the Soul. It moves from this passive servitude to something called divine frenzy. And maybe the biggest tell of all, the definition of truth goes from one single static picture to a fragmented, always in motion becoming. This isn't just a renovation, it's a complete and total demolition of the old way of thinking.
So how did they pull off this cosmic demolition? With something called the sonic screech of the Sapphire Demiurge. And you should think of it less like a sound and more like a cosmic chemical solvent. It's this transformative frequency that literally vibrates through the bones of the world, and it just dissolves any version of reality that wasn't actively chosen by the people in it. It's a total, absolute purge.
So, with the old world washed away, a new power takes the stage. This is the architect of the whole ruin, the being who now sets the rules for this new, fluid reality, the Crimson Judge.
This is his whole identity right here. But active nihilist doesn't just mean he believes in nothing. No, it's about taking a power of that nothingness and using it as a creative force. He's not just a kid kicking down the sandcastle on the beach. He's the one who willed the entire ocean to rise up and wash the slate clean, making space for something way more dangerous and way more alive.
So, let's break down what makes this guy tick. First up, his aura. It's described as a visceral hue, which is like the raw color of a life that has stared down its own death and won. And the consequence of that? His very presence puts this constant pressure on you. You can't fake it around him, you can't hide your weakness. He just demands what's called vital intensity.
Next up, his eyes. They burn with this cold, sapphire fire. And this perfectly shows off the new rules of the game. To even meet his gaze is to go through what's called a fatal audit. And get this, if you're found hollow, lacking that drive, that inner fire, you don't just die. You are consumed, completely erased from existence by the very reality you were just too weak to be a part of.
And finally, we have his signature tool, the gavel scythe, made from the silence of a dead star. The most important thing to understand here is that any interaction with the judge is a test. His words hit you like a flash of lightning, and you're either tempered by it, made stronger, or you are utterly obliterated. There is absolutely no middle ground.
And that brings us to this new system of justice. See, the judge doesn't care if you're good or evil in the way we think about it. He weighs souls on one single metric, the sheer density of their will to power. It's a radical move away from ideas like redemption and straight into this violent form of self-realization.
Okay, so we've met the architect. Now let's take a walk through his creation. What are the fundamental laws of physics in this upside-down realm he's built? What are the new rules of existence?
So, the number one law of this new place is the liquid mirror. In the old universe, reality was like a static wall, just a backdrop for the action. But here, the line between an object and its own reflection has completely dissolved. The world itself is now an active, fluid,
and you might even say conscious participant in the struggle to exist.
And this liquid mirror operates on three core principles. First, you've got the uncanny frequency, which means the normal and the bizarre are always crashing into each other. Second, there's reflexive lethality, meaning the world is constantly dreaming up more dangerous versions of itself. And third, the end of the ending, which is this huge shift away from final goals and towards a state of constant, unending becoming.
So if you're in this predatory, always shifting environment, you're faced with the central conflict of your life. How do you even survive? How are you supposed to evolve in a world that is literally designed to test you until you break?
Let's just sit with that question for a second. The landscape itself is your competition. The mountains, the rivers, the very air you breathe is reflecting back lethal possibilities of what it could be. So really, how in the world do you survive that?
Well, the answer is a state of mind called divine frenzy. And notice the word here. It's mandatory. You have to completely abandon the search for safety and comfort. Instead, you have to throw yourself into a constant duel with the infinite, embracing this vertical climb into your own power. It's a mindset of never-ending struggle and never-ending growth.
The source material gives us this really powerful story to illustrate the point, the parable of the broken glass. For ages, people just passively worship this giant wall of glass, polishing their own reflections. The hero is the one who finally shatters it. So the lesson is clear. You have to stop being passive. Stop polishing a safe, static image of who you are and become the active architect of your own reality.
And this brings us to our final section. If survival means adopting this incredibly intense mindset, then what's the ultimate goal? What does success even look like in the Upside Down? Well, that's what's known as the path of the Overman.
This path is really defined by three core principles. Number one, embracing the abyss, which basically means creating your own meaning in a meaningless world. Two, a vertical ascent, which means rejecting all comfort for the sake of climbing higher into your own potential. And three, active nihilism, which is all about using destruction as a creative tool.
So, the judge offers everyone this one fundamental choice, framed as the choice of the twilight. On one side, you have the comfort of the sun, which is basically presented as a blindfold. It's the easy, passive way for people who are afraid of reality. And on the other side, you have the twilight path, the difficult, challenging space of becoming, which is reserved only for the sovereign mind.
And all of this brings us to the ultimate, and maybe the most unsettling truth of this entire reality. There is no heaven to win. There's no final boss to defeat, no ultimate peace you can achieve. There is only the process itself, perpetual becoming. The journey is literally everything, because there is no final destination.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to just chew on. If the entire point of your existence is constant growth, endless evolution, and the perpetual shattering of your own limits, then what value could a final, static destination possibly hold? It's a fascinating and a deeply challenging question at the very heart of this world.